Okay. Were all of your
conversation? The person from TMZ said they would get back to you within 24 hours. Did they get back to you?
Yes.
Again, by email?
Yes.
What did they say?
Everything passed. They were interested.
Anything else other than that they just weren't interested and were going to take it back?
That's all I recall.
All of your communications with TMZ about the video, did they take place within a matter of a day? Did it concern you at all that even though TMZ took a pass, they still have 15 seconds of the video?
Yeah.
Why did that concern you?
Because now somebody else had a copy of it.
And you thought that they might post it and that you would get paid for it?
No. Actually, I thought they might turn it over to authorities.
So your concern wasn't that they would post it for everyone to see. Your concern was that they turn it over to authorities and you might get caught.
Right.
Following your attempt to sell the video to TMZ, did you make any further attempts to sell the video?
No.
How was it that you identified TMZ as a potential source for purchase of the video?
I'd seen the show a couple times and just saw it was the celebrity paparazzi stuff. So.
Had you seen Ms. Andrews on TMZ before?
No.
You understood there were other TV shows and websites out there who were celebrity-oriented, correct?
Right.
Why didn't you make an attempt to sell the video to any of those sites or television shows?
Don't know the answer to that.
TMZ was the only one you ever tried to sell it to.
For no particular reason, yes.
Did you discuss a price with them?
No.
Did you invite them to make an offer?
No.
Your intent was that you would be paid.
I hope. I hope.
You wouldn't have given them the entire video unless you were paid, correct?
Correct.
Following your attempt to sell the video to TMZ, you posted the video on some websites.
I did.
For what purpose?
It's a great question. I really don't know why I did.
And you come to the conclusion in your own mind that you likely couldn't make money on it, so you wanted to make them available to the general public?
No, I don't think that was the case.
Did you come to the conclusion you couldn't make money on it?
Probably ultimately I did, yeah. But not initially.
Well, following your conclusion that you couldn't make money on it, you posted it on sites where you knew it would now be available to the general public, correct?
Regrettably.
Sites, what sites do you recall having posted the videos on?
Jeez. Daily Motion. Attempted YouTube, that didn't work, which is fine. And there's another one I can't recall the name right.
Google Video?
That's what it was.
Any others that you can recall?
No.
When you posted the video, you identified Erin Andrews by name, correct?
Initially?
Why?
I don't know.
Was it your intent to humiliate her?
Absolutely not.
Was it your intent to embarrass her?
Absolutely not.
You swore under oath that it was your intent to cause her substantial emotional distress, didn't you?
That's what the plea agreement said.
And it was true when you signed it, right?
I signed the plea agreement they gave to me, yes.
And you signed it understanding that you would be attesting to the truth of what you were signing, correct? Sure. you understood when you signed the plea agreement that you were attesting to the facts therein as being true, correct?
Yes.
So when you took the video and you undertook the acts which we've been talking about here today, you did so with the intent to cause substantial emotional distress to Ms. Andrews, correct?
I guess based upon the plea agreement, I did, yes.
That's a true statement, true?
It's true.
If you weren't going to be profiting from posting the videos on the public sites, why would you identify Ms. Andrews by name?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I've thought about it many times and I don't know the answer.
After the videos were posted by you on the public sites, did you, and prior to the time that you were arrested, did you read any right there? After you posted the videos on the sites, did you become aware that, for lack of a better term, they went viral?
No.
At some point in time, you learned that they went viral.
I did, yes.
How did you learn of that?
I think I logged on the internet and saw that Yahoo was my main page, and saw that she was trending again. So I looked at the trending, and then I saw that this was in July, the whole thing broke. Saw that the whole thing had broken mainstream there. And then went online to my Daily Motion account and saw that it just exploded. So that's how I became aware.
So in approximately July of 2009, you went to your Yahoo account and saw where, when you say she was trending, that there were a lot of people looking for her.
She was a popular news story at that point, yes.
And in following up on that, you determined that she was a popular news story at that time because the videos that you had posted had gone viral and many, many people were viewing them.
That's correct.
And when you went on your Daily Motion account and you saw that she was also extremely popular, you again were able to determine that the reason for that was because people, many, many people were viewing the videos that you had posted.
Well, it said the news story had broke, that there was a video out there. That's how I became aware, yes.
And you then saw, obviously, that there were many, many news accounts describing what was in these videos.
Correct.
Some which had screenshots from the video. You saw those?
I don't recall when I saw it, but maybe.
When you saw that the videos that you had posted of Ms. Andrews that you had taken at the Nashville Marriott went viral, how did that make you feel?
Horrible.
Why?
Because I knew what I was doing was wrong. I knew it was a horrible thing. For her sake, for my sake, I knew that soon enough I'd be in huge trouble. But to me, I felt bad for her. I felt bad for everybody. I knew that ripple effect is going to affect a lot of people.
At that point in time, did you read about how it had affected her when she had learned that these videos had been taken and posted?
I did.
What did you find? What did you learn about that?
That she was under stress, and obviously it bothered her. I mean, of course I died. Yes.
How did you learn that she had been affected by it?
There were stories on the internet.
In July of 2009, were you running Google searches to look at the stories relating to the video that you had posted?
No.
Were you running any kind of searches?
I don't think so. No, I don't recall exactly, but I don't think so.
So when you say there were stories on the internet, how did you locate those stories?
I didn't really need to, actually. It was all over the TV for subsequent days.
When all of this broke, and I guess when you say it broke is what you're talking about when you first read about it in the media, correct?
In July?
Yes.
Yes.
Your primary concern was that you would be caught.
No.
It was a concern, correct?
I was concerned, yeah.
You believed at that time that they would be able to trace this back to you?
Yes.
Did you talk to anyone about it?
I don't talk to attorneys, yes.
From January of 2009 until July of 2009, which is the time from the time you contacted TMZ until the time that, using your words, the story broke, other than uploading the videos to, when you say you uploaded the videos to the website, was it only the several minutes of Nashville video, or was it the few seconds of the Columbus video as well?
To which website are you talking about?
Well, let's start with Daily Motion. Which video or videos did you upload to that website?
I think ultimately at the end, all of them I have.
Every video that you had taken of Ms. Andrews, the only videos you had taken of Ms. Andrews were the several minutes at the Nashville Marriott and the few seconds of the Columbus Blackwell, correct?
Correct.
And so at some point in time you uploaded all of those videos to Daily Motion, correct?
Correct.
What about to Google Video?
Just a couple of clips.
From Nashville Marriott?
Nashville.
So the only video you uploaded to Google Video were some clips from Nashville Marriott, correct?
To the best of my recollection.
As you sit here today, do you know whether you uploaded it to any other sites other than those two?
I don't recall. I don't think so, but I don't recall.
You don't know for sure?
I don't know for sure. I don't believe so, though.
So between January of 2009 and July of 2009, other than uploading the videos to public sites, did you do anything else with those videos?
No.
Did you undertake any further efforts to videotape Ms. Andrews?
No.
And the reason you stopped is because you felt you had enough?
That would be one of the reasons, yes.
What were the other reasons?
I just didn't want to do that anymore. It wasn't. And that was enough. I didn't want to do that.
After the story broke in July of 2005, after the story broke in July of 2009, how long was it until you were arrested? When were you arrested?
October 2nd?
Of 2009.
Correct.
Prior to the date that you were arrested, did you have any idea or any knowledge that you were being investigated?
No.
You suspected that you might be, but you didn't know, correct? And when I say you suspected that you might be, that's simply from the fact that the video was out there and you were worried about it being traced back to you, correct?
But obviously there's a trail of that not behind me. And gumshoe you probably figure out. So.
But you didn't have any other indication that they were actually onto you?
No.
So I'm sorry, the day you were arrested was when?
I believe October 2nd.
Were you arrested at your home?
The Chicago O'Hare Airport.
Where were you coming from or going to?
Coming back from Buffalo.
For business?
Yes.
When you were taken into custody and you were ultimately charged with criminal offenses, correct?
Correct.
You ultimately pled guilty.
Yes.
After pleading guilty, you served time, correct?
Correct.
How long did you serve?
20 months.
In what location?
I served 2 months in Atlanta and 18 months in Edgefield, South Carolina.
And then you moved back here to Portland to live with your family, correct?
Correct.
And you're currently on supervised probation?
Yes, I am.
For how long?
36 months.
When does that end?
July 15.
Before you called the operator, did you know Erin Andrews' room number?
No.
What was the purpose for your calling the operator?
Find out her room number.
Did you know, had you had any experience with those phones previously to know that her room number would come up on the phone if you called the operator?
Not dealing with her, no, but had experience, yes.
Did you had experience at that hotel?
No, at various hotels.
So is it fair to say that your experience at other hotels led you to believe that if you called the operator and asked for Erin Andrews' room, that her room number would come up on the phone?
In this particular case, yes.
Well, when you say in this particular case, what do you mean?
I stayed at numerous hotels on business and was aware that if you call on a house phone, whoever you're calling's name will come up.
How did you become aware of that?
Just on a business trip, was calling a friend of mine and saw his name pop up when I called his room.
Well, you said their name came up. The room number came up also on those other occasions?
That is correct.
And that's what happened on this occasion, correct?
That is correct.
So you didn't know Erin Andrews' room number until it came up on the phone at the Nashville Marriott, correct?
That's correct.
Now, did you have any understanding as to whether Ms. Andrews was staying on a secured floor where you needed a key to get up to her floor that she was staying on?
Ask me again, please.
Sure. Did you have any understanding at the Nashville Marriott as to whether Ms. Andrews was staying on a secured floor, like a concierge level floor, where you needed a key to get onto the floor?
I had no knowledge of that, no.
In the room that you stayed in at the Nashville Marriott, did you need a key to get onto your floor?
I don't recall.
When you called the Nashville Marriott to make your room reservation, how did you obtain the number to call to make the reservation?
Of the Marriott?
Yes, sir.
I don't recall.
Do you remember if you called the local number, if you called the 800 number? Do you have any recollection whatsoever?
I don't have any recollection.
In Nashville, do you recall how many other hotels you called in addition to the Marriott to determine where Ms. Andrews was staying?
I do not know.
You called other hotels, though, correct?
I originally had a reservation at the Marriott Courtyard.
And why was that?
The Marriott was full.
Ultimately, you called other hotels, though, to determine if Ms. Andrews was staying there, correct?
I don't recall if I did or not.
Before calling the Nashville Marriott, did you know that Ms. Andrews was staying there?
Before calling the Nashville Marriott for my reservation?
Yeah, before calling the Nashville Marriott to determine whether Ms. Andrews was there, did you know she was going to be there?
No, I did not know she was going to be there.
Why is it then that you called the Nashville Marriott as opposed to any other hotels in Nashville? See, now I forgot the question, but let me try another one. You don't know how many hotels you called, correct?
That is correct.
And the reason you called the Nashville Marriott is because it was close to where the football game was going to be played, correct?
That's correct.
There were other hotels that were close as well, but you don't know whether you called them or not, correct?
That's correct also.
When you made your reservation at the Nashville Marriott, did you receive a written confirmation?
Email, I believe.
To what email address?
That one was probably to my, I'm just guessing by my work email address, but it could have been to my personal I don't have an answer.
When you say it could have been your personal one, which personal one did you use at the time?
Don't recall.
Do you still have that written confirmation in your possession?
No.
What happened to it?
I haven't got that email address or my work address anymore, so.
Did you print it out when you received the confirmation electronically?
No.
And the computer that it would have, we'll strike that. If it was your personal computer, that computer ended up with the FBI, correct?
That's correct.
When you were looking for Ms. Andrews at the Nashville Marriott, I think you testified last time that you called and said that your last name was Andrews and you were looking to see if you had a reservation there, correct?
I think that's correct, yes.
Did anyone at the Marriott ask you why you were asking whether you had a reservation there?
No.
Do you recall them asking you any questions about your request that they tell you whether you had a reservation at their hotel?
I think they asked about a confirmation note.
And what did you say?
I did not have it with me.
Did they ask you any other questions?
They may have, but I don't recall the nature of the questions.
But based upon your saying your last name was Andrews, they told you that yes, Erin Andrews was staying at the hotel, correct?
They said we had a reservation. Yeah.
For Erin Andrews, correct?
Yes.
Have you ever been contacted by anyone from Marriott
Regarding?
your having videotaped Ms. Andrews?
No.
Have you ever discussed with anyone other than your lawyers about how you made your reservation at the Nashville Marriott?
No. No. All right.
When you checked into the Nashville Marriott, you used the name Michael Barrett, correct?
I believe so.
The same thing with respect to the Blackwell Hotel, you used the name Michael Barrett, correct?
I believe so.
The same thing with respect to the Radisson, Milwaukee, you used the name Michael Barrett, correct?
I believe so.
Have you at any time used any aliases other than Mark Bennett, I think as we discussed the last time?
To check into hotels?
No, for any purpose.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
So the only names that you've used are Mark Barrett, strike that, Michael Barrett and Mark Bennett, correct?
Or Mike Barrett, yeah.
Did you have a email address with that started with the Go Blazers, GOBLAZERS?
An email address?
Yes, sir.
I don't believe so, no.
Did you have a screen name on any website which used the name Go Blazers?
Yes, I did.
What website or websites?
It was on Daily Motion.
Any others?
That's all I'm aware of.
When did you first begin using the screen name Go Blazers on Daily Motion?
I don't recall specifically, but I would, to guess, I would say it was January of 2009.
Did you set up a account at Daily Motion specifically for the purpose of posting the videotapes that you had taken of Ms. Andrews?
Yes, I did.
At the last session, we talked about your removal of the peephole at the various locations. To unscrew the peephole, was a tool needed?
At what location?
Well, let me ask you this. At the Marriott location, the Nashville Marriott, was a tool needed for you to remove the peephole?
I don't remember. I believe so, but I don't remember exactly.
What tool? Do you recall?
Probably would have been a pair of pliers.
You brought a pair of pliers with you?
I don't remember if I did it or I bought them locally.
Do you recall trying to remove the peephole, being unsuccessful, and going out and buying a pair of pliers?
I don't. Actually, I think I can think about it more. I don't recall that being the case.
At the Marriott, you were simply able to unscrew the peephole, correct?
If I recall correctly, yes.
You then went into your room and used a hacksaw to hacksaw the threads and then put the peephole back in to make it look like the full peephole was there, correct?
That's correct.
You brought the hacksaw with you?
Blade, yes.
Something you brought from home?
Yes.
Did you put it in the checked luggage or you bring it on the plane with you?
I always check my luggage.
So you brought the hacksaw blade in the checked luggage, correct?
Yes.
And you brought the hacksaw blade specifically for the purpose of sawing off the threads on the peephole, correct?
That's correct.
And it was your hacksaw that you brought from home, no third party or your employers?
That's correct.
Did your employer combined insurance pay for your room at the Marriott?
I think they may have paid for part of it, half of it.
When you say paid for half of it, why is it that they would have paid for half of it versus either all or none?
I think it was expensive and probably over our per diem amount.
You had a per diem amount, and if you went over that, you were required to pay the remaining part on your own?
In some cases, yes, depending if the room was approved, yeah.
To the best of your recollection, then, you paid half, but you paid a portion and they paid a portion.
If I recall correctly, yes. I don't know that for 100%, but that's my recollection.
What, do you have the receipts for your stay at the Nashville Marriott?
Nope.
Do you have any documents related to your stay at the Nashville Marriott?
Nope.
What happened to them?
They're all purged.
Purged by you?
When I left my house, I threw away basically piles of personal stuff, not just this stuff, but personal stuff, records, and put it in storage.
So are the records in storage somewhere?
No, they're gone.
When you say they're gone, where are they gone to?
They were all burned.
By you?
By me.
When?
Before I left Chicago, I burned, like I said, all my personal stuff. I mean, old records of not just this, but just everything.
Why did you burn them as opposed to put them in storage?
It's like old credit card receipts, things like that. Just burn them. Had nothing to do specifically with that. It was just get rid of everything. I mean, had my credit card numbers on it, and different information. So.
Were you trying to get rid of evidence as to what you did to Miss Andrews?
Absolutely not.
You burned the receipts from the Marriott?
I burned the receipts for a lot of places.
Including the Marriott?
Including the Marriott.
So you don't know why you videotaped Miss Andrews, correct?
I didn't say that.
Okay. You don't know why you videotaped these more than 10 women?
Stupid.
But you have no idea why you did it?
There was no particular reason, no. It was just stupid.
Did you ever post any of those to the internet?
I did.
How many?
Don't know.
Where did you post those videos to?
Daily Motion, I believe.
Also under the screen name Go Blazers?
Yes.
Anywhere else that you posted those videos?
I don't recall. No, I don't believe so.
Did you try to sell any of those videos?
No.
What was the purpose of posting any of those videos for public viewing?
I don't know. It's a great question. I honestly don't know the answer. This was very stupid.
Well, at the last deposition, you said that the reason that you took the videos of Miss Andrews was because you had wanted to sell them, correct?
Correct.
But you took video of more than 10 other women who you posted for public viewing, but didn't intend to sell those, correct?
Later on, yes, I did.
Were those videos taken after you first videotaped Ms. Andrews?
I believe so, yes.
So after you videotaped Ms. Andrews, you taped more than 10 other women that you then posted on Daily Motion, correct?
Regrettably, yes.
But the only one you tried to sell was Ms. Andrews?
Initially, yes.
Well, when you say initially, did you at some point try to sell any of the others?
No, that was the initial plan for that.
These other women that you videotaped, did you follow to hotels?
Did I follow to hotels?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, let me ask you this question. The other women that you videotaped, did you do so through a peephole?
Yes.
Were they all in Chicago, or were they spread out at different locations?
I said they were Chicago, so they were spread out throughout the country, yes.
locations did you videotape these other women?
Don't recall.
You don't recall any of them?
No.
And you don't know the names of any of the women?
None.
Were they women that were chosen at random, or were they people that you actually intended to videotape, followed and intended to videotape, similar to what you did to Ms. Andrews?
Random.
You would be in a hotel and see a woman go into a room and remove the peephole and videotape her?
Yes.
When you testified at the last session of your deposition that after videotaping Ms. Andrews at the Blackwell, your conscience got to you. Did your conscience get to you with respect to any of these other women?
Yeah, I did.
But it didn't stop you from doing it.
Eventually it did, yes.
When did you stop in relation to when you were arrested?
A few months before.
Why did you stop?
Because I didn't like what I was doing.
Do you recall the month of the last time that you videotaped a woman naked?
No.
Have you done it since you've been released from jail?
Absolutely not.
Other than Ms. Andrews and potentially Rachel Nichols, did you run background checks on any other women?
Several, yeah. People I've tried to rehire from the company, several people.
Other than people who you were looking to hire in relation to your business? Well, straight, you weren't looking to hire Ms. Andrews through your business, correct?
Absolutely not.
Nor Ms. Nichols, correct?
No.
Other than people who you were running background checks on for purposes of potentially hiring them at your business, did you run background checks on any women other than Ms. Andrews and potentially Ms. Nichols?
I may have, yes.
Do you know who?
I do not.
The background check that you ran on Ms. Andrews, did you do that on your personal computer or your office computer?
I don't recall.
Have you ever spoken with any of the women who you videotaped?
No.
Are you aware as to whether, as part of the FBI investigation, they ever identified any of these other women?
I'm not aware of them.
Did anyone other than your lawyers ever tell you that any of these other women had been identified?
Ask me that again?
Sure. I don't want to know what your lawyers told you. Outside of what your lawyers told you, has anyone else ever told you who the identity of any of these women are who you videotaped?
No.
Other than Ms. Andrews?
Correct.
You've seen Exhibit 1 before, correct?
That is correct.
Can you describe for us what it is?
It's my plea agreement between the Northern Central District of California and myself.
Basically, this was the agreement that you signed pleading guilty to offenses involving Ms. Andrews, correct?
That is correct.
And as we discussed at your the first volume of your deposition, that's your signature on the last page, page 24, correct?
Yes, it is.
You signed it on or about December 10th, 2009, correct?
That is correct also.
And you understood at the time that everything that you were attesting to in this agreement was true, correct?
That's correct.
All right, I'd ask you to go to page 4, please. Page 4, the first indented paragraph states, between on or about January 28, 2008 and on or about July 22, 2009 in Los Angeles County within the Central District of California and elsewhere, defendant Michael David Barrett, also known as, a.k.a. Mark Bennett, aka Hands for You, aka Go Blazers 1, defendant Barrett, with the intent to harass and to cause substantial emotional distress to a person in another state, namely Erin Andrews, victim Andrews, used facilities of interstate commerce, including cellular telephone networks, electronic mail, interstate wires, and the internet, to engage in a course of conduct that caused substantial emotional distress to victim Andrews. Is that a true statement, sir?
That's what I attested to and signed, yes.
So it's a true statement, correct?
I guess it is, yes.
Next paragraph, quote, on or about September 2nd, 2008, defendant Barrett called a hotel in Nashville, Tennessee, where victim Andrews would be staying on September 4th, 2008, and made a room reservation for himself on September 4th, 2008, specifically requesting a room adjoining victim Andrews' room, period, end quote. True statement, sir?
Yes.
Next, on or about September 2nd, 2008, defendant Barrett caused a confirmation of his Nashville hotel reservation to be sent via the internet to his work email address, period, end quote. You see that, sir?
Yes.
True statement?
Yes.
Why was it, if you recall, that you had a confirmation sent to your work email address as opposed to your personal email?
As a, I think I was a silver member, or whatever, a status member of Marriott, and that's the email address they had on record for me.
Did you at any time attempt to obtain a copy of that reservation from your employer? A copy of the printout?
Ask me again?
Sure. The confirmation was sent to your work email address. Did you at any time, after you burned all your files, did you attempt to obtain a copy of that hotel reservation from your previous employer? Come on.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to clarify the inference you're giving is I burned files for this. I burned everything just to get rid of a bunch of junk in my house, okay? And this happened to be part of it, so just want to clarify your inference there. Secondly, did I try to obtain it? No.
You burned files including the reservation, correct?
I burned almost all the stuff I had, yeah, just to get rid of it, get it packed away.
Including the files related to the Nashville Marriott.
That would be correct. Actually, there's no file on it. I didn't print it. It's my credit card receipts, my credit card statement.
Did you ever print out your reservation that was sent by the internet to your work email address?
I doubt it.
Did you have any other confirmation that would give you a confirmation number that said that you had a room at the Nashville Marriott in September of 2008?
Did I have any other what?
Confirmation. You said if you didn't print it out, did you have any other confirmation? Anything else that would give you a confirmation number?
Just the email, I'm sure.
Were you able to access your work emails from any devices which you carried on your person in September of 2008?
I don't recall if I did or not.
Next paragraph, quote, on or about September 4th, 2008, defendant Barrett traveled from Illinois to Tennessee, and you did so by airplane, correct?
Yes.
Next, on or about September 4th, 2008, defendant Barrett altered the peephole device in the door of the Nashville hotel room in which victim Andrews was staying. True statement?
Yes.
Next, on or about September 4th, 2008, defendant Barrett surreptitiously shot through the Nashville hotel room's peephole several videos of victim Andrews naked in her Nashville hotel room, open parenthesis, collectively with the Columbus video, comma, quote, the videos, close quote, close parenthesis, without victim Andrews' knowledge or consent. True statement?
That's true.
Quote, on or about September 4th, 2008, defendant Barrett sent 3 of the videos from his phone to his email account, comma, handsforyou@yahoo.com. True statement?
Yes.
So you sent the videos from your phone to your email account on the day that you took them, correct?
Which I previously testified to, yes.
Did you review any documents between the last deposition and this deposition?
I have not.
Did you review the transcript from your last deposition?
I did not.
Did you have any discussion with anyone other than your lawyers about the testimony from the last session of your deposition?
Actually, I've spoken to no one since the last deposition.
Next sentence, quote, on or about September 5, 2008, defendant Barrett paid for his stay at the Nashville Hotel using his American Express credit card number, last four numbers 1009, and his Capital One MasterCard number, last four numbers 3209. Is the reason that you paid with two separate cards, as you described earlier, because part of it was paid by your employer, part of it was paid by you?
Was that the reason?
Yes, sir. Is that why you paid with two separate cards?
That's not the reason. The reason I gave was earlier because it was probably over the allotted amount I could spend for a room.
I understood, but the reason that you used two separate cards is because one of them was your personal card, and one of them was your business card.
Okay, you asked me that way, yes.
Next, on or about June 29, 2009, using the alias, quote, Mark Bennett, end quote, and the email account handsforyou@yahoo.com, comma, defendant Barrett sent an electronic mail regarding the videos to TMZ.com in Los Angeles, California. True?
True.
Next paragraph, on or about February 2nd, 2009, defendant Barrett made interstate phone calls to attempt to locate a hotel at which victim Andrews was scheduled to stay, period, end quote. You see that?
I do see that, yes.
True statement?
I don't recall if it is, but at the time I agreed to it, so yes.
You wouldn't have agreed to it if it wasn't true, correct?
Fair enough, yes.
So in February of 2009, months after you had taken the video at the Nashville Marriott, where were you attempting to locate Ms. Andrews?
I have no idea.
You don't recall making phone calls to try to find where Ms. Andrews was going to stay?
I don't.
You wanted to videotape her again, didn't you?
I don't believe so, no. To the best of my recollection, I did not.
What would be the purpose for you making phone calls to determine where she was staying, other than to be the videotaper, hopefully naked?
I do not know. You know the answer.
Next statement. On or about February 12, 2009, defendant Barrett used the internet from Columbia, South Carolina, when victim Andrews was in a different state, to create an account on the website Google Video. True statement?
Yes.
On or about February 12, 2009, defendant Barrett used the internet, and specifically the Google Video account described above from Columbia, South Carolina, when victim Andrews was in a different state, to post one of the videos to the internet with the intent to harass and cause substantial emotional distress to victim Andrews, period, end quote. True statement.
Yeah.
Why did you want to harass and cause substantial emotional distress to Ms. Andrews?
I don't know. I really don't know. No reason.
Quote, on or about February 12, 2009, when victim Andrews was in a different state, defendant Barrett, with the intent to harass and cause substantial emotional distress to victim Andrews, named the video that he posted on Google Video, quote, Erin Andrews' naked butt, period, end quote. True statement?
Yes.
And then it states, on or about July 17, 2009, victim Andrews became aware of the videos while in Los Angeles County and suffered substantial emotional distress, period, end quote. True to the best of your knowledge?
True to the best of my knowledge.
First, let's start with the method you used to remove, and I think we've been using the term peephole, but I'm also going to use the term viewport. You understand those are the same thing?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you, Mr. Barrett, you came up with this idea on your own of how to remove a viewport from a hotel room door. Is that correct?
No.
Okay. How did you come up with the idea?
As I had testified earlier in deposition, I saw a bellman doing it at a hotel I stayed at in the past.
So you saw an employee of a hotel removing a viewport of a hotel room door. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But did you, Mr. Barrett, come up with the way to remove a peephole or viewport from a hotel room door to spy on somebody?
That's what the employee was doing when I saw it. Yeah. So it was his idea that I stole from him.
How do you know the employee was spying on somebody?
So I was watching him.
Did the employee tell you he was spying on somebody?
No, I didn't even talk to him.
So you had no discussions with the employee?
That's my assumption. That's what he was doing.
I want to know what factual basis you have for the statement that the person you saw was spying on somebody in a hotel room.
I have no factual basis for that. It's my assumption.
But based on you viewing somebody, removing a viewport to a hotel room door, you decided that that would be a way to view other people. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the first time you ever removed a viewport from a hotel room door was at Ohio State. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And I believe your testimony is that it took you less than a minute to remove the viewport. Is that correct?
Sounds like what I said, yeah.
Well, your goal is to do that quickly. Is that right?
That would be correct.
Why is doing it quickly important?
Just less time there to be less conspicuous.
You didn't want to be seen, correct?
That's correct.
You want to conceal what you're doing. Is that right?
That's correct.
Once you removed the viewport, let's talk about Ohio State. What did it look like? Can you describe for us?
What did what look like?
The piece you removed.
The viewer?
Yes.
Piece of metal with a viewport. I mean, it's probably about an inch long, 1.5 inches long. A cylinder that you can see like a parabolic view.
And the inch-long piece you're referring to, that is the portion that is inside the door itself. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
And at some point after Ohio State, you made the decision that you would also not only remove the viewport, but you would then modify it. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you came up with that idea to modify it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And when we talk about modification, let's get specific here. We're talking about taking a saw and hacking off the 1-inch portion of the viewport. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And when you use a saw, you were using a particular type of saw. Is that right?
Hacksaw blade?
When you say hacksaw blade, does it have a handle on it?
No.
It's just a straight blade. Is that right?
That's correct.
How long was the hacksaw blade that you used to remove or modify the viewport at the Radisson?
Don't know specifics, I guess 10, 12 inches probably.
So from end to end, the blade would be between 8 to 10 inches. Is that your testimony?
10, 12, however long a hacksaw blade is, so 10 to 12 maybe, I don't know.
And the hacksaw blade itself, you kept that in your bag, is that right?
On the trip to Nashville?
Let's talk about Nashville then. On the trip to Nashville, did you have that in your bag?
I did bring it with me, yes.
And you testified you put it in your bag and checked on the plane.
Correct.
When you got to the hotel, that hacksaw blade remained in your bag, is that correct?
That would be correct.
And you only took the hacksaw blade out of your bag when you got up to your hotel room when you set out to modify the viewport, is that right?
Yes, it is.
And after you were done using that blade to modify the viewport at the Nashville Marriott, what did you do with the blade?
I don't remember if I brought it back or I threw it away, one of the two, I don't recall.
Was it the same blade you used at the Nashville Marriott as the blade you used in Milwaukee?
I don't know.
And again, your use of that blade, you only used that within the confines of your hotel room, is that correct?
Yes.
You didn't have the blade out in the hallway at the hotel, is that right?
That's correct.
You wanted to do this in secret, correct?
That's correct.
And the modification of the viewport we're talking about, in essence, is just shortening the size of the viewport, is that right?
Correct.
But you do leave on a stub amount to the viewport so that it can be put back into place at the hotel room door, is that right?
That's what I did.
And how much of the threads did you leave on the viewport?
I don't recall.
The intent, though, your intent was to put it back in place in the door so it would appear that the viewport was functional, is that correct?
That's correct.
And the idea that is if somebody goes to their room, it appears that the viewport is in place, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And then, in order to take the viewport out, what did you have to do at that point?
Just go ahead and pull it out.
Take 2 seconds?
Yeah.
And again, your goal was to be able to do that quickly, right?
I would assume that was my goal, yes.
Well, you didn't want to be detected.
That's correct.
You didn't want to be caught.
Right?
Do you have any idea where that hacksaw blade is today?
No.
Did the FBI take that from you?
No, it's probably, I have no idea where it's at. I mean, no, they can take it now. That I'm aware of, but I don't know what they took from my house.
Well, at some point the FBI did come to your house, correct?
Oh, yeah.
And they removed things from your house?
Yes.
Do you know what they removed?
You know, they took my computer, some paperwork, I don't recall what else they took.
Mr. Carr asked you about some documents relating to your receipts and stays for your travel. Remember that testimony and those questions?
I do.
Do you know whether the FBI took any of those materials when they came to your house?
Don't recall. I don't think they did, no.
At what point did you move from Chicago after this incident? When in time?
In May, I went to prison.
May of what year?
2010. It was April of 2010.
Did you surrender yourself there in Chicago?
No, I surrendered myself in Atlanta, Georgia.
You talked a little bit about your dealings with TMZ in January of 2009, and I think your testimony was at that point you were not happy with yourself. What did you mean by that statement?
Just my actions. I mean, totally uncharacteristic for me. Just my place I was at in my life, and just wasn't happy.
Well, what was going on in your life in January 2009?
Stress at work. Things weren't going well there. Just money problems. Future was uncertain.
Give an example of what you mean by stress at work.
Just a lot of work going on, a lot of changes happening, trying to figure out where I was going to fit in the future.
Is that because the company you worked for was making corporate decisions as to employment?
Just restructuring. We had a new boss. We were purchased by a different company.
And that caused you stress?
That was part of it, yeah.
What about, you said financial situation, what do you mean by that?
Just run out of money.
You still had your job, correct?
That's correct.
And based on the corporate restructuring, you didn't lose your job, is that right?
I did not know.
Eventually you stopped working at Combined Insurance when you reported to prison, is that right?
No, right after my arrest.
What happened?
They wanted to ask me questions on what happened, and I couldn't talk to them, so they said, well, you want to resign or get fired? So I resigned.
And so going back to January 2009 in TMZ, where we started with this line of questioning, you had sent an email to dennis.broad@tmz.com. Do you remember that?
I don't remember his name, but I remember saying it to TMZ, yes.
Well, do you know who Dennis Broad is at TMZ?
Do I know him personally? Is that what you're asking me?
Correct.
No, I do not.
How did you come across the name Dennis Broad at TMZ?
Again, I don't recall the name, but if he's the one who responded to my email to TMZ itself, then that's how I became associated with him.
Well, how did you determine who to reach out to at TMZ?
I think TMZ had for lack of a better term, a tip line, hotline, so you could send in different things.
This is an electronic line?
Correct.
It's not a telephone line, right?
It's electronic, yeah.
So there's an electronic line, you can send things into TMZ, and you decided to send in or inquire about selling the video, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
And you got a response from TMZ?
Yes, I did.
And did TMZ ask you to see the videos, or did you voluntarily provide the videos to TMZ?
Voluntarily.
Why did you attach the video to an email to TMZ? Why?
Why did I attach it?
Yes.
Because I asked them if they were interested in purchasing.
And so then you gave a copy of the video, right?
I believe that's the correct order, yes.
And TMZ told you pretty quickly they weren't interested, is is that right?
They said they'd get back to me within 24 to 48 hours, I believe. They mentioned just 24, but they got back to me in the time period and said they were not interested.
And your only communications with TMZ were through email?
Correct.
Were you worried that TMZ would go to the authorities and report that you had the videos?
It crossed my mind, yes.
But to your knowledge, TMZ didn't go to authorities in January 2009?
To my knowledge, no.
In your communications with TMZ, you used your hands-for-you email address, is that right?
I believe that's correct.
You were trying to conceal your identity, is that right?
That's correct.
At some point, and we just talked about this, after the Ohio State incident, when you did purchase a people search of Ms. Andrews, correct?
Yes, I did.
Sometime before February 2008, you came up with the idea to pursue Ms. Andrews, is that correct?
Yeah, yes.
What was going on in your life at the time when you made that decision?
I don't recall. It was 5 years ago, but I don't remember exactly what was going on in my life.
Call why you chose Ms. Andrews?
Just a whim. I saw her, like I said, I saw her on like a trending thing. She was a popular search, and it was really, I knew who she was, but never really knew who she was, knew anything about her. Just saw her on the internet.
For people who maybe aren't on the internet all the time, just tell us, what do you mean when you use the word trending? What does that mean?
I'm not the internet guru myself, but as I understand trending, it's just whatever's popular, whatever stories are popular that particular day, and it's what people are searching for, the top searches that day.
And did you have a particular homepage that you went to that reported news to you in this time period before early 2008?
I used to use Google, but Yahoo was my homepage.
So, just so we all understand, if you went into yahoo.com, they would show news, is that right?
Yeah, there's different news stories that are happening. Yeah.
And did you have your own personal page set up to see certain types of news or certain types of stories that you selected?
No.
You just looked at the day's news that Yahoo was reporting on, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
And when you say Ms. Andrews was trending, does that mean that she was popular in the news and was appearing in stories?
Apparently she was one of the top searches that day for some reason, yes.
When you say top searches, what do you mean? Whose searches?
The public. That's what was driving her to be what was trending that particular day, as I understand how it works.
So, other computer users have run searches with Ms. Andrews' name, and Yahoo was reporting the volume of such searches. Is that correct?
That's my understanding of how trending works. I could be completely off base, but that's my understanding of how trending works.
And at the time, Ms. Andrews was trending, being very popular. Is that correct?
I'm assuming.
Did you ever think of carrying out these same acts against anyone else besides Ms. Andrews at that time?
No.
When you came up with this idea, I think you testified the last time we were together that it was for financial gain?
Correct.
You never told anybody of your plan, though, did you?
I did not.
Ever?
Ever.
And this was something you wanted to do in secret, correct?
Yes.
You never wanted to get caught?
No.
Did you intend to harm Ms. Andrews? The question was a very simple one. Did you intend to harm Ms. Andrews when you came up with this scheme in early 2008?
Yes.
And I think you said in your last deposition that you were intending to try to get video with or without her clothes on. Is that correct?
That may have been what I said, but something along those lines sounds plausible, yes.
So you were just trying to get video of Ms. Andrews that you thought somebody would pay you for. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did she have to be naked in the video?
I don't recall my mindset at that point, so I don't know. More than likely, yes.
Just have to go back to to my questions a few minutes ago about the testimony on trending on Yahoo. Do you recall any specific news stories about Ms. Andrews that you read or saw prior to 2008?
No.
Any stories about her personal life? Anything like that that you remember?
No, nothing.
And I think you also testified last deposition, you'd also seen Ms. Andrews on TV, I think you said between 10 and 25 times during that same time period, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And that was, she was on TV because she was reporting on sports events?
Correct.
Anything else besides sports that you saw her on TV for?
Not that I recall, no.
Mr. Barrett, you mentioned that you were in a financial bind and that's why you were trying to get video to sell it to profit from it, correct?
Yes.
What caused your financial bind?
Poor choices, investments, bad investments, bad moves with my money.
Anything else?
No.
Let's talk a little bit about that. What, at that time, what was your title for work?
National Sales Administrator.
What were your responsibilities as National Sales Administrator?
Several, but the key ones were training the sales force on how to write and submit quality business, get policies issued and not canceled, taking care of the annual budget for our sales department, working as a liaison with the systems people to try and get different ideas implemented for our sales force.
Any other main responsibilities you had as the National Sales Administrator?
Those would be the big ones.
How many others at the company had the title National Sales Administrator?
There was different sales forces, so I'm thinking it was just another individual who was in charge of the larger sales force.
So there were two of you in the entire company who had the title National Sales Administrator?
That I'm aware of. I'm not sure exactly what the other guy's title was, but it was the same type of position.
And same thing with the Nashville Marriott. Your decision to try to pursue these actions against Ms. Andrews were directed at Nashville Marriott because that's where ESPN and Ms. Andrews was staying. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You don't know anything about the security procedures or standards of the various hotel brands, do you?
Absolutely not.
Your decision was based upon where Ms. Andrews and ESPN would be located for covering the various events. Is that right?
That's right.
You talked to Mr. Carr about Google Video. And for those of us who don't know, can you explain what Google Video is?
Actually, not really, no. I just stumbled across it, and it's a site within Google where I guess you can post videos.
And did you have to get an account in order to post videos on Google Video?
I'm thinking yes, but I don't recall with 100% certainty.
And so this is a sub-site of Google, is that right? That just deals with Google Video?
For lack of a better term, yeah.
Well, how would you describe it?
I don't know, it's just part of Google. I mean, it would be a site within Google, so a sub-site would probably be the best term.
And how did you decide that you would upload a video to Google Video?
I don't recall my thinking at that point.
Do you know why you selected Google Video?
I do not.
You only posted the one video of Ms. Andrews on Google Video, is that correct?
I did, and I tried to take it back down, and I couldn't.
How quickly did you try to take it back down?
The next morning,
And what happened?
it wouldn't let me take it off
Did you get an error message? How did you know they wouldn't let you take it off?
because I kept trying to hit delete and it wouldn't go away.
Why did you decide to try to take it down the day after you posted it?
Maybe my conscience got to me, I don't know.
And tell us again how you tried to take down the video from Google Video.
I can't remember with 100% certainty, but to the best of my recollection, there's an option to delete, and I would hit the delete button, and it wouldn't go away.
And how did that video actually appear on Google Video? Was it a link that you clicked on? How did it appear on your screen?
I don't quite understand exactly what you're asking me here.
Well, how did you know that you had a video on Google Video? Did you go to a site? I'm just trying to understand how you could see the video and how you could delete it.
As I walked through and talked about it, I must have had an account with it that I recall now. So I don't recall it, but I must have had an account with them. So I went to the account and it was still listed on there.
Then you hit the delete button and that didn't work?
Correct.
You try to contact Google and tell them to take it down?
Actually, I did send an email to them saying they're trying to delete this email. And I never got a response.
Do you know what email to Google was that you sent, and what address did you send it to?
I think there was a link on the, customer service or something on there. I don't remember what it was, but I think there was a link on the bottom of the page, but I don't remember exactly.
And so you clicked on that link, and then you sent a message back to Google saying, I want this video taken down. Is that correct?
To the best of my recollection, yes.
And did you ever get any response from Google?
No.
Did Google ever take the video down?
That I'm aware of, no.
Did you ever authorize Google to share the video with anybody else?
Personally, no. It might be in the terms and conditions. I didn't read those.
Did you ever authorize Google to allow copies to be made of the video?
Not personally, no.
Your Google Video account, did that show you how many people were trying or had viewed the video that you posted of Ms. Andrews?
I don't believe so, no.
So do you have any knowledge of how many people ever tried to view the one video of Ms. Andrews that was up on Google Video?
No, I have no knowledge.
And at some point you deleted your Google Video account itself?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Were you worried that Google would report you to authorities? Did that ever cross your mind?
Yes.
Did that ever happen?
I don't know.
Did you ever go on to Google Video and watch the video of Ms. Andrews that you had posted?
Not at the initial posting, no.
How about subsequent to the initial posting?
No, just to try to see if it ever got deleted, but no, other than that, no.
And when you looked to see whether or not the video had been deleted, was it a link that you could click on, or was there actually a thumbnail of a video? What did you see?
I believe it was a thumbnail.
Did the thumbnails have, say, any mention of explicit video, anything like that?
Not that I recall, no.
Do you know whether you have to have a Google Video account to run searches to find videos on Google Video?
I don't know.
Did you ever search Google Video for videos of Ms. Andrews?
No.
So was your sole use of Google Video the uploading of the one video and then your attempt to take it down? Is that correct?
Attempts, but yes.
And after you were unable to take down the video,
what did you do next as related to that, that video? Anything?
No.
That one Google video, you named it as well, correct?
Yeah.
And you named it at the time when you uploaded it onto Google Video, is that right?
That's correct.
How did you decide what to name it?
Just decide whatever you want.
Did you ever try to delete the name of the video?
I don't, I mean, I may have. I try to delete everything of it.
So you were trying to get rid of the video entirely, correct?
Correct.
You mentioned in your last deposition that you had also attempted to try to upload to YouTube the video of Ms. Andrews, is that correct?
I believe that's the case, yeah.
Do you know, can you tell us what happened when you tried to upload video of Ms. Andrews to YouTube?
Not with 100% certainty, but my recollection is it just refused it because of the content.
Do you know whether you had to have a YouTube account to upload video to YouTube?
I don't remember.
Do you remember what response you received from YouTube when you tried to upload the video?
Just something along the lines that it violated the terms and because of the content of the video.
Were you worried at all that YouTube might alert authorities?
At some point there was, after the fact, yes.
But as far as you know, that was your only attempt to upload to YouTube, correct?
Correct.
You never placed any video of Ms. Andrews then to YouTube, is that correct?
That's correct.
Did you ever authorize anybody to put up the videos you took of Ms. Andrews to YouTube?
No.
The Daily Motion website is located in France, is that right?
It's my understanding, yes.
How did you come across Daily Motion?
I don't know exactly. It was just, in fact, there's a couple of sites out there where you could post different pictures and things, and I'm not exactly sure how I stumbled across it.
But you created an account with Daily Motion using the screen name Go Blazers 1 for the purpose of uploading the Andrews video, is that right?
Yes.
Did you ever try to take down the videos from Daily Motion of Ms. Andrews?
No.
Your Go Blazers screen name, was that part of creating an account on Daily Motion?
Must have been, yes.
Were you ever able to see how many other users had viewed the videos of Ms. Andrews that you had posted to Daily Motion?
I think there was a way to see it, yes.
Do you recall prior to July of 2009 how many people had actually viewed the videos that you uploaded to Daily Motion of Ms. Andrews?
I don't remember. It was probably a few thousand.
And just so we can bookend this on the dates, you uploaded to Daily Motion beginning in February 2009. Is that correct?
Sounds correct, yes.
So between February of 2009 and sometime in July of 2009, the best of your recollection is that a few thousand people had gotten onto Daily Motion to try to view your uploaded videos of Ms. Andrews. Is that correct?
To the best of my recollection, yes.
Is that something you went on to Daily Motion specifically to look for, to see how many other people were viewing the videos of Ms. Andrews?
Sometimes, but not always, no.
Well,
When I would log on, I would notice how many hits were out there. I mean, that wasn't my sole purpose. No.
And do you know whether you need a account with Daily Motion in order to search other videos posted on Daily Motion?
I don't believe you do, but I don't know for sure.
And you never gave anybody the right to go and distribute the videos that you uploaded to Daily Motion or the one video you uploaded to Google Video of Ms. Andrews, is that correct?
That's correct.
So as of July 2009, the only two sites that you're aware of where you'd authorized and where you had put video of Ms. Andrews was Google Video and Daily Motion, correct?
That's all I recall. Yes.
But you didn't give the video to anybody else, did you?
No.
You didn't give it to any of your friends?
Absolutely not.
There was reference in your criminal proceeding of another website, which is, quote, capital NSFWPOA.com, end quote. Mr. Mayor, do you recognize that website?
No.
Did you ever post video of Ms. Andrews to that website?
No.
You ever visited that website?
No.
Mr. Barrett, there was also reference to an email address, quote, clevelandga@gmail.com. That's clevelandga@gmail.com. Do you recognize that email address?
No.
Is that your email address?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Did you ever use that email address?
No.
Did you ever send video of Ms. Andrews to somebody at that email address?
No.
The videos that you took of Ms. Andrews at the Nashville Marriott, you took on a LG Shine camera, is that correct?
Probably that's correct, yes.
Can you just describe what an LG Shine camera is? How big is it and what is it?
Well, it's a fairly expensive cell phone. It's probably about 4 inches by 2 inches. It's flat. It's got a sliding cover to it that exposes the keypad, and that's about it. It's a pretty simple phone.
And the size of the phone, you can conceal that and keep that in your pocket, is that right?
Yeah.
Why didn't you use a video camera to try to make the footage of Ms. Andrews?
I don't know.
Did that ever cross your mind?
No.
So the LG Shine that you used at the Nashville Marriott, that was something that you carried by your person, is that right?
Yeah.
And it had a video feature, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Now there was a statement in your plea agreement about Ms. Andrews' emotional distress. Do you remember Mr. Carr reading that to you?
I do.
Do you have any factual basis for emotional distress suffered by Ms. Andrews as it relates to the events that we're talking about?
Do I have any factual basis on her mental? No, none.
Do you know why that's in the plea agreement?
No.
Do you know who drafted the plea agreement?
Specifically, no, but I imagine the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Your attorney didn't draft it?
No.
Did you go to college?
No.
Where'd you go to high school?
Milwaukee High School.
In
Milwaukee, Oregon.
After leaving Milwaukee, did you graduate Milwaukee High School?
Yes.
When did you graduate?
1979.
After leaving Milwaukee High School, what did you do?
I worked for Combined Insurance.
No military service?
No.
Have you ever had any college education?
No.
And you've been with Combined for 30 years, you said?
It was 30 years. Yeah.
And you rose from the position of mail clerk to National Sales Director.
Correct.
Sales Administrator. Sales Administrator, I'm sorry. The mail clerk, I guess we probably understand what that is. But the other position that you rose to when you left the company, what did your duties entail?
The final position I did?
Yes. Well, you were asked a number of questions in between, but I want to understand that last employment position that you had to combine.
Okay. As I explained earlier, my boss was the National Sales Administrator, so he was in charge of the bottom line of sales. We would have different ideas, how to promote sales, how to increase sales. A lot of those ideas involved working with the systems department, so I would be like the liaison between the sales department and systems to try and implement these things to get them to work. My big job was our issue rates and cancellation. Issue rates were low, cancellation rates were high, so a lot of the business we wrote was falling off the books. So my task, if you will, was to increase the quality of business that was being submitted. So that was primarily my biggest focus, was to travel around and train the sales force, come up with ideas to promote and train how to do quality business.
And you were in that position how long before you left the company?
As a national administrator, 12 years.
In 18 years with the company and other positions that you've already talked about prior to that?
Yes.
And the position that you have now is what?
Delivery driver for a meat and food company.
Can you report to who?
Gentleman's name?
Our position now.
Report to the owner of the business.
Now, relative to this lawsuit involves and Ms. Andrews, was this idea yours and yours alone?
Yes.
So you never spoke to anybody about what you intended to do?
That's correct.
And during the course of what you did do, you never spoke to anybody about what you were doing?
That's correct.
And I understood your testimony over the course of the last several days. What motivated you to do this was financial reasons. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the reason I ask that question is because in this plea agreement, and that's one of the areas I really want to understand from you, in the plea agreement you say you did this to cause her mental anguish and distress. But in listening to your testimony, it sounds like you were motivated for financial reasons because of financial problems you were having. Is that right?
I had some financial problems, yes.
So when you sat there and came up with this idea, Ms. Andrews, that you've already pointed out, I won't go back through that. Did you sit there and say to yourself, this is a reason I can solve my financial problems potentially? Or do you sit there and say, this will harm Ms. Andrews emotionally and psychologically? You understand what I'm saying?
I do, I understand. And I don't recall my specific mindset at the time, but I know I was having financial problems, and that was when I initially set out.
And you specifically recall that?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Barrett, we've taken this short break now, so let me ask the question again after the break. And all I'm asking is that first time that you were sitting there, whether it be your house, work, wherever it was, but you had this idea, Erin Andrews, I'm going to try and get video of her. When you sat there that first time, did you think, I can make money from this and help myself financially? Or did you sit there that first time and say, I'm going to do this to give her mental suffering and anguish?
As I thought about it as a way to make some money, but obviously as a pretty rational person at times, I would have assumed that it would probably cause some kind of problem to her down the road. So that was the thought process.
And the other women that you've talked about, in excess of 10, and whatever the other end was, I know counsel had used number 50, whatever it may be though, Were those women videoed only in hotels, or were they videotaped anywhere other than hotels?
Hotels.
Did you video any woman other than Miss Andrews now talking about? So exclude her out of there. Did you video any woman other than Miss Andrews after, that's not going to work right. After Miss Andrews was videoed in Nashville, did you take a video of any other woman in a state of undress at any time?
I may have, I don't recall specifically, I don't recall.
Do you have any estimate of the number of women other than Miss Andrews that you videoed prior to Nashville?
Somewhere in that 10 window, I mean, I don't know.
The other women that you videoed, were you also staying in hotels?
Yes.
Did it matter to you whether they were in a room next door to you?
No.
You had testified to counsel for Marriott that you would travel, did you say a couple hundred times?
I'd say, I mean, you're thinking of the answer, probably somewhere between 150 and 200 days a year, yeah.
And that was in the position that you last had with combined, is that right?
Yes.
So have you had that type of travel over the course of some 12 years? 150, 200 days a year?
Probably more so the last 5 or 6.
So you're talking thousands of hotel nights over the last 12 years of your career combined, right?
Sure, yeah.
Did you also travel for pleasure?
Yes.
Go on vacations?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you're very familiar with staying at hotels?
Yes.
Was there a particular hotel you stayed at? Hilton, Marriott versus any others?
I stayed at a lot of Hiltons, I stayed at a lot of Marriotts.
Did you have a membership in any one of the clubs that those hotels had?
Pretty much every hotel. I stayed at, I'd start one, but primarily with Hiltons and Marriott, yes.
What membership did you have at, say, Hilton? You know, they've got what, platinum, Hilton?
I think I was
platinum,
gold a couple of years, and silver.
How about Marriott?
Silver.
All right. With respect to the Nashville incident that brings about this lawsuit, did you have any reason to be in Nashville other than there was going to be that football game that ESPN was televising and the need that you had to do some training in Nashville?
There was no training in Nashville. We had an office down there that the regional manager of that office had become ill on disability, so the office was basically vacant, and I went down there and just kept an eye on it and straightened things up and saw what packages had come in, and just kind of just kept an eye on the offices out in town. Checked on the secretary who worked there.
Would you have gone down, the game was on a Thursday night, is that right? To your knowledge?
Sounds about right, yeah.
Would you have gone down on that Thursday if the ESPN game had not been shown there in Nashville?
I would have gone down, because I needed to get down there for a couple of weeks previous to that, and just other things had come up, so the two tied together.
And I understand that. What I'm asking is, would you have gone that specific day had the ESPN game not been shown at Vanderbilt?
Probably not.
And I want to make sure I understand this. no person at that local Marriott hotel ever told you what room Ms. Andrews was staying in, is that right?
No person told me what room she was in.
With respect to what you did through the people, you told us you saw a hotel employee in another location, and I won't go back through that. What I am going to ask, though, is after witnessing that person do that, did you ever go do any research on taking peepholes out or filming someone through a peephole? No. Didn't go online to see it? No. In this case, with respect to Ms. Andrews, if it had turned out, and you've already testified to what was said, not said anything, I won't go back through that, but if it had turned out that in fact you had not been given the room next to her, would you have just packed your bags and gone back home?
Objection to foreign cause for speculation.
I'm sure I would have completed my work I had to do in our Nashville office. I can't tell you what I would have done after that.
So the fact that she was not in the same room, would not have been in the same room in the Marriott in Nashville, at least today, would that have made a difference to you?
Objection to foreign cause for speculation.
I can't tell you exactly what my thoughts would have been. Yeah, I really don't know.
Would you have, using some words I've heard you say, would you have done something to try to create the opportunity if you had not been in the same, as in the room next door to her?
Objection to foreign cause for speculation.
Maybe if you be more specific on the question, would you
Sure.
ask me?
If you had not been put in the room next door to her, would you have looked to create the opportunity to film her anyway?
Objection to foreign cause for speculation.
I would say yes, I would have.
So, as I'm sitting here today, am I correct in believing that the fact that you had the room next to her is not what caused you to videotape her on that occasion? Right?
Also, legal conclusion, objection to foreign cause for speculation.
It didn't enable me or didn't stop me.
And I told them in front of this that I was going to answer the question because I really want you to understand, and this is one area I don't understand. Why did you post the video of Miss Andrews on the website you told us about if you weren't going to be paid for them?
That is a great question. And I really have thought about it over the years. And I don't have a good answer for it. I don't know.
You told us about the financial stress you were going through. You told us today about drinking. Was that going on at the time?
Yes.
And then you alluded in your prior deposition testimony that Ms. Brainerd may have moved out in early 2009. Am I correct on that?
Sometime, yeah, in 2009, yeah, we haven't had some problems.
Were you getting any counseling at that point in time?
No.
The Marriott Hotel in Nashville, Tennessee, did that hotel, when the two clients, and I'm representing this case specifically, did they have anything to do with you posting that video you took of Ms. Andrews on the websites?
Objection to foreign.
To the best of my knowledge, no.
That was a decision you made?
Yes.
If you had not posted, I'm sorry, if you had not uploaded those videos onto that website, those websites, the general public wouldn't have seen them, right?
Correct.
Objection to foreign cause for speculation.
Counsel just just objected, can you think of any way the general public would have seen those videos that you had in your possession if they weren't uploaded by you?
I can't think of any way.
Unless they broke into your house and stole them or something.
Correct.
Have you ever thought to yourself, if only I hadn't contacted TMZ, this wouldn't have happened to me?
It goes back before then. I've thought to myself about a lot of things, how stupid I am.
And what are you talking about in terms of video?
Just
taking
with
with
them, just the whole thing, yeah.
You had testified a few moments ago in the deposition that this was something out of character for you.
Yes.
Something else I want to understand, you talked several times about your financial condition in 2009. That happens to be the year after 2008. Is that just coincidental, or are they interrelated? You talk about investments and your investments collapsing.
No, I mean, it's just been kind of kicked to the head. I mean, there's been some poor moves along the way. I mean, you know, that housing boom, bought a house at the wrong time, rather than bought a high and crashed, you know, and just one thing after another.
At the front of this deposition, the first time, Mr. Carr, that's the attorney for Ms. Andrews, had asked you whether you knew the consequences of not telling the truth and talked about perjury.
Yes.
I don't want to answer that question. What I do want to ask you is this, though, and that is what you have told us today, let me ask you this way. What you told us today, you told us because it is the truth. Is that correct?
I told you with 100% best of my recollection.
And it is the truth.
That I believe to be the truth.
Does anybody want to recess? 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
All right.
We're going to play about a 6-minute video of Mr. Turk. Then Paul Andrews, the Bob will testify, and then Erin. And I just want to inquire, Your Honor, if we're prepared to rest at the end of Erin's testimony, can it be subject to the admission of exhibits so that we can double check the exhibit list?
Certainly.
Not slow things down today.
Certainly.
You might be one or two other housekeeping things. I just want to make sure we can rest subject to housekeeping things.
Yeah, there's a couple of things. Be better to rest in the morning, just a few minutes in the morning to wrap up.
Sure.
A few things.
But
before we rest, I'm not.
No, are you? I want to make sure we can, this the exhibit, the plea agreement, I have it redacted pursuant to plaintiff's objection. So if we can, after the jury gets back, introduce that, Mr. Barrett's plea agreement as an exhibit.
Okay, number 30.
If we can see it, Your Honor, make sure that it was redacted appropriately.
All right, y'all look over that.
Thank you.
And it's deposition 31?
I'm sorry.
And it's deposition 31? Is it
Oh, this, what number are we on?
Mr. Barrett's deposition?
Yes, this is the, well, it's exhibit 1 to his deposition, but it's, I don't know what trial exhibit it is.
So we'll make 31 his deposition.
Okay, yes. Well, it's actually his plea agreement, I guess is really what it is. Barrett's plea agreement.
Okay. We're not communicating, but we'll talk about it.
Okay, thanks.
Calls in various hotels, the same thing you took out for one of the other things.